Welcome to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. Every Wednesday, Mark and Kim, along with their special guests, will explore thought-provoking topics and ideas that promote creativity, self-help, healing, happiness, and well-being to inspire you on your spiritual journey. Each week, Mark and Kim will discuss different paths to achieving a more spiritual, balanced, happy, and healthy lifestyle. Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience, and all things spiritual. Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. Mark and Kim are tested, certified, and professional spiritual mediums, metaphysical teachers, healers, and spiritual advisors with their own individual spiritual practices in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
Good afternoon, inspired listeners. Welcome to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. I am excited about our show today. We have a very special guest, Robyn Wolf, who we'll be bringing on in just a moment here. But I feel like this next hour is going to be, we're going to be talking about our spiritual journey here on earth and also experiencing a loss of a loved one as a part of that spiritual journey. So I just feel like the conversation is going to be really raw, authentic, real as we talk through one of life's greatest challenges. We have a really special offer today. Thank you to our guests. So to our first caller today, when you call in, you will receive a free copy of Robyn's book along with a special Reiki bear. And you can call in to ask any question you like of Robyn and her background, or of the host, the host here, Mark, and myself. Robyn is also open to doing some readings today, too, if you'd like. She's a very talented psychic medium. So if I were you, I'd take advantage of this really special invitation. But first, I'm Kim Thalken, founder of my bicoastal spiritual practice, Love First, where life transformations happen in the beautiful city of Richmond, Virginia, and Encino, California, where the goal is to raise consciousness one soul at a time. If there is anything that I can do to help you in the way of readings, healings, or using the power of your mind with hypnotherapy, you can find me at lovefirst.info. I do have a couple of announcements to make, and one is I'm going to be doing readings at the Edgar Cayce Association of Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach this Saturday, the 22nd, from 9 to 5. So if you haven't been, it is a beautiful campus. I encourage you to come down there. Just a really nice setting. I've also posted a video on my YouTube channel under Kimberly Thalken that's entitled Change is Here. It's kind of like a State of the Union address, but on where humanity is and our levels of consciousness, if you're interested in hearing more on that topic. Also, I will be at the Alchemist Bookstore in August on the 4th, 18th, and 25th, doing readings all day there. So for all of you RVA folks who would like a reading, schedule your session now, because they seem to be booking up pretty fast in advance, but I'd love to work with you and actually meet you in person. It's a complete delight that I get to spend every week with my favorite co-host, the intuitive prospector up in Seattle, Washington, Mark Lanehart. How are you?
Hi, Kim. Hi, inspired listeners. How's everybody doing today?
So far, so good.
Good. So, just sent out a video out on Instagram. So if you're following us on Instagram, if you're one of our inspired listeners all around the globe, thank you so much for joining us today. You are the inspired and the inspiration. And every week you join us and listen into our shows and our fabulous guests and our amazing topics. And this is definitely a show you're not going to want to miss today, because we're going to be opening the phone lines here shortly after we get done introducing our guests. And you're going to want to post your question on our Facebook page if you are outside of the United States, because the call-in number for the show is only good in the United States. That number to call in is 1-202-570-7233. 7057. It's going to be a fun show. I am looking forward to the readings as well, and just want to let the inspired listeners know I'm going to be at the Boeing Employees Parapsychology Club Conscious Wellness Expo. It's my last event for the summer. I'm taking the summer off. I'm going to actually be out in nature doing a lot of hiking, a lot of scuba diving, and a lot of traveling. But if you want to sync up with me this Saturday, July 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm going to be at the Kent Commons in Kent, Washington at 525 4th Avenue. It's a free admission. There's hourly door prizes, free guest speakers, free parking. You can do a little spiritual prospecting with me. And there's some of the best readers, vendors, healers in the Pacific Northwest are all going to be gathering here. So great gift ideas, loads of fun, and that's the Conscious Wellness Expo this Saturday, July 22nd at the Kent Commons. Come out and let's do a little spiritual prospecting for your own spiritual gold. You can learn more about the work I'm doing here in Seattle, Washington at marklaneHart.com, or just internet search The Intuitive Prospector, and let's go out and do a little spiritual prospecting. Kim, our positive affirmation for this month, in the month of July. I can't believe that July is half over already as we head into August.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just, where is the time going? But with everything that we do on every show, we always have a positive affirmation. And so the July positive affirmation for this month is, I can tap into a wellspring of inner happiness anytime I wish. I can tap into a wellspring of inner happiness anytime I wish. And if you want to catch any of our encore shows after the live show is over, you can follow us on Facebook under Inspired Living Radio, Twitter and Instagram at Inspired For Us. That is the number 4. Google Plus communities under Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. And all of our encore shows run on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podbean, OMTimes Radio Archives, marklaneHart.com. I have my favorite episodes there. And Kim, I know you have your favorite episodes as well at lovefirst.info. Right. So lots of shows. We're going to be getting into the month of August, where we're going to have our 100th episode, if you can believe that, Kim. We've been doing this for almost 2 years. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Gosh.
And let's get into doing some readings, and I'll be monitoring the Facebook page and the call-in line if you want to call in. Again, that number to call in is 1-202-570-7057. Back
Very
to you, Kim.
good. Thank you, Mark. Yes. So, you know, in line with this, with our affirmation for the month, you can tap into a wellspring of inner happiness anytime. I think that's something we're going to be touching on today, how Robyn learned how to do that even through one of the most painful times of her life. But today, I am excited to introduce psychic medium, Reiki Master, artist, photographer, and author, Robyn Wolf. She received her spiritual training at the Journey Within, a very special place in New Jersey, which is where I met her, and Pratt Institute, as well as the Arthur Findlay College in the UK. She's working towards being ordained as an NSAC Spiritualist Minister. She's had the gift of communicating with those that have crossed over since a very, very young age, and connecting with your guides and your loved ones in the spirit world for the purpose of emotional healing or bringing unfinished business to a close. She is very good at that. She also gives guidance regarding relationships, career, family, health, and other issues of importance. She feels that comforting people before they cross over is also very important, and she's a practicing healer, both spiritual and Reiki healing, and she is doing beautiful work here on the East Coast. She also does absentee healings as well, and she will pray for those that request prayer. That's so special when somebody opens himself up to do that. Prayer is so powerful. She is a designer, a presentation designer, an illustrator, and a photographer, and she uses her artistic gifts to draw spirit, healing mandalas, and autographs. And her first book, The Adventures of Timmy, a Reiki Bear, was just published. We're going to be talking about that today. She's available for private appointments, energy healings, meditation classes, art workshops, phone readings, parties, and intuitive development classes. Robyn, thank you so much for being with us today, and welcome to Inspired Living.
Hi, Robyn.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, so the time's going to go by fast today. I know we've got a lot of just really good things that we're going to be going through. We do have 2 minutes until our break, but I just want to, say it was really just very nice to have met you at the Journey Within. I know that was a very important part of your own journey, your spiritual journey. So just tell us a little bit about your background, this spiritual journey that you've been on that led to the writing of your book.
Well, I started when my mom got sick about 7 years ago, well, a little bit more than that. I just got confused and sad, and I didn't know really what direction to go in. So when she got really sick, I started visiting the Journey Within. And Reverend Janet Nohavec just welcomed me with open arms, and I really just felt like I was one of the family there. So I started taking classes with her, and I started meeting a lot of different people and just trying to figure out how to go through the healing process and how to help people to deal with it themselves, because it's very difficult when you lose a mother, a husband, wife, a child. So that was the process that I started to go through.
Yeah, so just for those folks that are listening that don't know, the Journey Within is a church in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, and it's headed by Janet Nohavec, who's a very beautiful soul herself, who's done a lot in the spiritual community. That is our lead into our first break. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes as we continue our conversation with our guest, Robyn Wolf.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Are you seeking answers to life questions? Would you like to connect to a departed loved one? Are you suffering from pain, stress, or anxiety? Kimberly Thalkin is a tested, certified, and professional psychic, spiritual medium, energy healer, hypnotherapist, and the founder of Love First, where life transformations happen. Love First services support, guide, and empower individuals by connecting them to their highest potential to live a healthier, joyful, and meaningful life that's filled with purpose. All services can be done by phone, Skype, or in person in Encino, California. Please visit lovefirst.info. That's LOVEFIRST.info for more information.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim and our guest, Robyn Wolf. So, Robyn, before we went to break, I was just letting the listeners know a little bit about the Journey Within, which is headed by Janet Nohavec, who's done so much beautiful work in the spiritual community, a very talented psychic medium herself. So continue on with your story. So just if we could just backtrack here, so we're going to get into the what you experience and the difficulty of going through the loss of a loved one. But just to backtrack, in your earlier part of your life, you were in communication with spirit, but you weren't maybe developing that side of your abilities at that point until later in life, or how did that all come into play?
Well, I was brought up Jewish, and we really didn't talk about things like that. So I kind of I thought I was strange, I thought that I was doing something that really was not accepted, so I didn't really tell anyone. I used to have my imaginary friends just like any other child might, and I would talk to people that I saw in my room, but I didn't really think anything of it. But I always knew what was going to happen in the future, and I was always pretty on the mark, but I didn't really tell anybody about it. I didn't really think about any of it until my mom got sick. And there was a point where she was in the hospital, and this was about 6 months before she passed, maybe 4 months before she passed away. We would really have to communicate just with her eyes, and I needed to find a way to communicate with her because I needed her to know how much I loved her. So that when I really started to develop more my mediumship, my psychic work, my healing. And that was when I really realized, people have been telling me all my life that I'm a healer, but I didn't really understand what that meant. So when she was sick, that's when I started to develop it and to understand it and to really study it. I don't think I could have gotten through without developing those skills.
Yeah, how does being in touch with that side of yourself, because what does somebody do if they're not, say they don't have these abilities, or they haven't developed them, or they're not aware of them, but then they experience loss?
Right. I think that it's important for people to realize that their loved ones are always around them when they're in the spirit world. Life is continuous. So to me, that means that when we're spirit, we're all spirit, we're all part of the divine, whether we believe in God or something. We're all part of the divine. And when we get sick and pass over, we're going into the spirit world. We're just spirits in physical bodies. So when we lose our physical body, we're still around. So I think it's important for people to understand that no matter what, their loved ones are still around them, and spirits they want to be spoken to. They want to comfort the people that are still on the earth plane. So, I find that a lot of people will go to mediums to try to be healed. Some will go to spiritualist churches. Some will secretly talk to their relatives while they're drinking their coffee or eating their breakfast or in the shower because they don't want people to know. I think it's very important and very healing for people to understand that their loved ones have not really left. For me, what's comforting is that I can see spirit and I can feel. Yes, it is different. I would never downsize the amount of hurt that you feel when you lose a loved one and the devastation that you feel. But knowing that they're right there beside you is very comforting. And I think it's everybody's right. Everybody, as Janet Nohavik says, everybody has a third eye and everybody can activate it. And it's everyone's right to be able to speak to their loved ones. It just depends on whether they want to develop it or not. And I guess that's why we're around, so we can help them.
That's right. That's the intention. That's definitely the intention. So, Mark, you said we have a caller on the line.
We do. We have our first caller. It's Gail from Los Angeles. We're going to try to plug her in. Gail, are you on the line with us?
I am. Thank you.
Hi. Welcome to Inspired Living Radio with Mark and Kim.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
I think I recognize this lovely voice across the country.
I saw your post on.
Yeah. You are our first caller, so you are the recipient of Robyn's book today, and Bears. So yay! Thank you for calling. So how can we help you?
Thank you. Oh gosh, I'm honored. Robyn, I wanted a general reading on I don't really have a specific question. I just wanted to see what your higher guidance has to say for my life's path or journey.
Okay. Well, right off the bat, while I'm speaking to you, I feel like you're kind of at a crossroads right now, and you're not sure which direction to go in. And I feel like it's not just with the job, but it's with moving and a relationship. I feel like you are going in the right direction, and you need to follow your gut because you're also very intuitive. I don't know if you're an artist or if you're an author, but I feel like you doodle a lot and write a lot, and that you need to just keep writing in order to put your thoughts together. And you should not stop doing that. You should continue because that's what's going to help you, like pros and cons. You need to just keep writing things down so that you can figure out the best direction for you to go. I feel like you're going to be moving to another part of, on the East Coast, the West Coast?
I'm on the
I feel like you're going to, so I feel like you're going to be moving soon to a better spot. In a better home where you're going to be much happier and feel more fulfilled. I still think it's going to take a few months until maybe October until that happens, but it's going to be very fulfilling for you when it does. And you just need to follow your gut. Don't be afraid to make the wrong decision because you won't, and you're going to end up doing what's best for you. I see a lot of water around you and a lot of flowers, and what I'm being told is that you need to have a lot of flowers around you, and that's going to help you to stay grounded and to just feel good about yourself. I keep seeing orchids around you, so just make sure you do things for yourself to make you happy.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Gail, I'm going to add to that too, because as Robyn was delivering her message, I was getting something too. I don't know if you're thinking about this already, but I do see you writing a little book of like prayers. And I know you work with the angelic realm because we taught our class together. But I feel like you'd write a book of prayers too, of what people can use to work with the angels, or just that would help them in different parts of their life, that they could access a certain prayer that might be needed for different aspects of their life. But I see a book of prayers, so I don't know if you thought about that, but that's coming up around you as well. And I think you'd be wonderful at that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the reading from both of you.
I love it,
yeah,
and I'm going to jump in here as well, Kim. She's going to get the trifecta today, Gail. So
sure.
I was actually hearing the words wisdom around you, and the number 5 is coming up. So anytime the number 5 comes up, that's also about the adventure seeker. That's about when the student is ready, the teacher appears kind of energy. So the word wisdom was coming up, and I don't know if you're getting ready to make a shift as far as a spiritual teacher, or if you're going to be influenced by a mentor, or seeking out a mentor to increase or improve your spiritual journey. But the words wisdom was coming up in the number 5. Would you understand that?
Yeah, in a way I would. I'm not sure about the number, but just because I'm not sure right now doesn't mean it might not mean something to me in the future. And that's funny that you should say about mentor. I'm looking into taking another class to further my path, and I'm really confused about what teacher to work with.
Yeah.
So you were spot on with your reading. So I guess I have to just keep an eye out for the number 5.
Yeah, keep an eye out from a numerology standpoint, because it is the freedom-loving adventurer type of energy, and the number 5 will make itself present to you in the next few days as long as you're looking for it. So it could be 555, but it's also the words wisdom were coming up, and I've seen you holding a book and really kind of researching what your next step and journey is going to be on your spiritual path, because it's very important for the work that you're going to do moving into the future, and this mentor is going to make a big difference. And I know that I don't know if Janet No Havoc actually mentors, but I first worked with her in 2013, and her church, A Journey Within, and she's very disciplined in the work she does for spirit. So that wouldn't be a bad mentor to start out with as well.
Is she is she in Los Angeles?
She's on the East Coast.
She's in North New Jersey.
Yeah, but she has her own church, and she does teach. Yeah, and she teaches at the Omega Institute as well.
Yeah. And she teaches
I'll
at
have
Arthur
to
Findlay.
research her.
I'm actually not seeing Janet as being your mentor. I'm kind of seeing someone that you need. You need someone. I feel like you need somebody more creative, because your doodling comes into play when you're doing readings, and that's very important for you to be creative.
Okay.
So I feel like you need somebody who's very visual.
Okay.
A mentor that's visual, and I feel like that's what you need to look for in your mentor.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing Arthur Findlay a lot, so I don't know if you're thinking about going.
Can't go wrong with Arthur Findlay.
But I am hearing Arthur Findlay.
Can't go wrong.
I don't know. The number 5 to me kind of says the UK. I don't know why, but that's what I'm hearing.
I love it.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your input.
You're welcome, Gail. Well, thanks for calling in Inspired Radio.
Thank you, Gail.
Yeah.
Bye.
And we're heading into our second break, and when we come back in 2 minutes, stay with us. We're going to continue our conversation with our guest, Robyn Wolf.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Have you wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Mark's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Mark's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marklanehart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
Tune in to The Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robyn Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
America's service members and veterans are strong, forged out of bravery, sacrifice, and duty. Sometimes reaching out for help can be the most challenging and worthwhile mission of all. When you recognize something isn't right, make the call to the Veterans Crisis Line or Military Crisis Line. Dial 1-800-273-8255 and press 1.
Welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim and our guest, Robyn Wolf. So, Robyn, before we go on, I just want to make sure that our listeners know how they can find you. If they'd like more information on your work or even doing a session with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can contact me at info@nourishing-journey.com or robyn@nourishing-journey.com.
Okay, great. So, all right.
And we also have a Facebook page and a website.
Excellent. Perfect. So, and that will be on social media as well for our listeners. That we were talking about, your mom. Your mom had an illness. She was sick. She was in the hospital. Your abilities helped you to work through the experience, and take us from that point forward.
Well, let's see. After she passed, I just went through a whole series of just taking as many mediumship classes as I could, as many healing classes as I could, and I just kept looking for different ways to expand myself and to help other people. I saw the pain that my dad went through and that my relatives went through, and it just made me want to help people. Watching her in the hospice made me want to be with the other people in the hospices to help them and their families while they were going through their transition. And that led me to taking a Reiki class with who is now my Reiki Master, someone in northern New Jersey, a woman who I used her bear in order to write my book. Her name's Leslie Summers, and she allowed me to use her Reiki bear in order for me to go through my journey to write about my healing process, which I hope helps other people go through theirs. And I just kept plugging away. Over last Christmas, I went to Bali with my daughter, and I just took a lot of different healing classes, yoga. I went and visited all the temples, and it was just a process for me to try to figure out how to heal and move on with my life. And it was pretty much about healing mind, body, and soul. I really feel like you need to heal all three in order to become whole again. It was a long process. I'm still healing. I don't know if you ever get over, I don't think you ever get over the death of a loved one, the passing of a loved one.
That's ongoing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's ongoing.
Exactly. So I just think, though, that you need to figure out how to move forward in the best way possible after losing a loved one. And for me, understanding that my mom's still with me helps me to get through it.
And your book, it's a very gentle story, like your explanation of things, like a day-to-day experience that the reader gets to go through with you in the book, like all the different things that you experience to help you with different aspects of you healing. So like,
right,
whether it been yoga or learning breath work, and I like how you give like the description of what each practice is and then kind of the history behind it and how it helps with healing. Do you want to expand on some of those thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to try everything, I guess. I didn't know what would help and what wouldn't. Being near all the statues and being just being in Bali was just so spiritual for me. There was one point where I went to a huge drumming circle on Christmas Eve, and it was shamanic, but it was a drumming circle with a lot of different music, and it put me into such a nice meditation that it just was very healing, and it just helped me to relax. And I think the most important thing is to realize that your loved ones don't want you to stop living after they've passed. They want you to be happy and keep going. And for me, water is very healing, and the sun is very healing. So I just went through each process with an open mind to see what would help me the most. And everything did. I mean, the Tai Chi, the breathing, the Shiatsu, Reiki, everything just helped me to become a little bit more whole, because I really just felt like, you know, I was just different pieces of a puzzle piece, and I really didn't know where to go and what direction to go in. And writing everything down, just, you know, telling the story through a bear's eyes, because, you know, kids love to cuddle with bears, people love to cuddle with bears. It's sort of like cuddling with your animal, and bears are just very, you know, it's just nice. It's nice to hold on to something like that, if that makes sense.
Oh, it absolutely does. But this is not just any bear; it's a Reiki bear. So
exactly, it's a Reiki bear.
Talk about that, because I like that. I like your description of like how healing it can be. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about Reiki bear?
Okay. Well, the Reiki bear, Leslie, my Reiki Master, started selling these Reiki bears, the original intercom Reiki bear, and she would put all of her healing and love into the bears, and so, you know, she would give them to people who needed them, or she'd sell it to people that needed them. And with all the, you know, it's sort of like distant Reiki. She puts the love into the bear, and when you're holding it, you feel the healing. So I wanted to write a story that would kind of tell that story too, if that makes sense. It's for me it was a process, because she kept telling me, you have to heal your mind, body, and soul, Robyn, and that's the whole thing. And I said, no, I just want to heal my asthma. I just don't want to hurt anymore. I just want this. I just want that. And I went through about 6 months of going to Reiki sessions with her, and also holding her bear while I was sleeping. And it just, all of a sudden, after about 6 months, I said, wow, you really do have to heal your mind, body, and soul. And then I went to Bali and just continued the process. So I asked her if I could use her bear to write a story, and she said yes. And that's what I did. I just thought it was the best way to tell the story, was by using the Reiki bear. Because I think it's so important for people to have something to hold on to while they're going through the process. And a lot of people use the Reiki bear to do distant Reiki, a lot of Reiki practitioners. So the Reiki bear isn't anything new. It's just another way of sending people distant Reiki. Because distant Reiki is just as strong as in-person Reiki, as long as it's done correctly.
Mm-hmm. And Robyn, I love the concept too of the Reiki bear. And does the Reiki bear come with your book? Do they go hand in hand?
Well, I sell the Reiki. I sell the book by itself, and then I also sell the Reiki bear with the book. And then Leslie, of course, sells her Reiki bear through her Intercom Reiki Facebook page or email, and she has a website. So it can be, the bear could be bought together or separately, and so can the book.
Okay. Yeah, and I like the concept of the bear. It is a healing process. It's very comforting for people, and you're right. There's a spiritual balance that we all go through as light workers and as mediums in our journey of losing a loved one and having that spiritual balance of mind, body, and spirit. And it looks like Bali was the trigger point that kind of brought that inspiration to bring all of the emotions and everything that you've gone through with, the passing of your mom. I always like to say passing because you're right. They're just a thought away. They're closer to us now than they ever were in the physical world. But your experiences create your path and your heart for wanting to help and to wanting to serve and wanting to heal. Tell us, talk to the Inspired Listening community, why it's important for you to heal people and why you're studying to become a ordained minister through the National Spiritual Association of Churches, or what we call the NSAC.
Okay. Well, I definitely, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a rabbi. But when I was little, female rabbis weren't really accepted, and so I followed my first love to be an artist and a photographer. But I decided that I wanted to become a minister because watching the Reverend Janet Nohavec do beautiful sermons and homilies and take care of people just was very inspiring to me. And after my mom passed, I just wanted to help people. I saw my dad go through horrible times. My sister who lives in California, my mom's sisters, I watched everybody just go through losing the matriarch of our family. I mean, we all just put her on a pedestal.
Sure.
And I don't think any one of us ever realized what it would be like without her until we had to. So I just want to help people. I want to help people go through the process of healing. I want people to feel like they belong someplace. I went through so many years without feeling like I belonged anywhere. And when I walked into the church, I finally felt like I had come home. And I want my church to welcome people with open arms. And I am in the process of building a church now in Maryland with another reverend.
Oh, very cool. Okay,
so,
very cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, news within 6 months to a year, hopefully.
So, Robyn, hold that thought. We're in our last break of Inspired Living Radio. Totally agree with you. It's important to find your soul tribe, your spiritual community, and that's what we are here on Inspired Living Radio with Mark and Kim. We're going to be back in 2 minutes with our very special guest, Robyn Wolf. Stick around.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
More than 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disorder, and that number continues to grow. I'm Sharon Saylor, and I'm one of those 24 million. To put that number in perspective, cancer affects about 9 million and heart disease up to 22 million. That's why I've brought together top experts and those thriving regardless of their diagnosis to bring you the latest, most up-to-date information. Join me, Sharon Saylor, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Autoimmune Hour on Life Interrupted Radio to find out how to live your life uninterrupted.
I'm Fidel Nsombo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Inspired Living Radio with Mark and Kim here on OMTimes, the voice of consciousness. Our very special guest today, Robyn Wolf, psychic medium, Reiki Master, artist, photographer, and author. So right before the break, Robyn, we were talking about why it's important to heal our experiences and how it puts us on a path to be a light worker, a medium, a psychic, a Reiki healer. And then you're building a church as well, so that's very awesome to hear. I would hope to, in the future, get an invite and come check it out in the future and be able to see what's in your, what's in your mind come out into your reality and what you see for, a spiritualist church where you're at. So, you're studying to become an ordained minister through the NSAC. Tell us about that. Tell us about the NSAC and your vision for moving forward to have a spiritual church in your area.
Well, the NSAC is the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. They've been around for a very long time. I just went to my pastoral skills course in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago, and I went through the whole pastoral, learning how to help people with dementia, Alzheimer's, at nursing homes, hospices, the whole gambit. And it was very tough. It was, it makes you question whether you're really fit to be a minister, because you have to deal with so many different things.
Sure.
But it made me feel stronger, and there aren't any spiritualist churches right now in Maryland. There are a few, and there's one in Virginia and one in Washington, D.C. So the NSAC has been very supportive.
Where in Virginia? Can you tell? Where's Virginia? I've been looking for things like that.
In Falls, it's a couple of hours away from you. It's in Falls Church.
Oh,
there's that church.
No wonder.
Yeah. I know that I don't think there's any by you. But my vision is to build a church where we can. I think it's also very important to teach children. Not so much. It's not about religion. It's about believing in the divine and that we're all a part of the divine. And so I think it's important for people to just feel welcome and to go through their own healing process. And for me, it's not going to church where you sit and read a Bible or pray. It's more about meditating and healing and taking classes and workshops about meditation and yoga. And it's a holistic way of living for me. And for me, it's just making a community where people want to help each other. And I just think that in today's society, we need to start building communities where people help each other and love each other and just want to see people grow and heal. And also a place where you can go where you can talk to spirit or be taught how to talk to spirit. It's not so much about the psychic work. It's more about the mediumship and talking to spirits and healing from things that have happened in your past or your future.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why Arthur Findlay College in England does so well, because they have the Spiritual National Union network set up with churches where people can go and feel like they have family, their spiritual community, their soul tribe, as I like to call it, and be able to do mediumship and to help heal and to help serve. And I think we're growing in the United States. I think we're starting to see that as well, and we're seeing more growth. And I know that Janet's church was one of the first on the East Coast. She's also a tutor at AFC. So hopefully we'll get one out here in Seattle. Kim, you can always open up one in Richmond, and we'll start our own little network.
There you go.
And we should, because the more
we should, better. Yeah. Why not, right? Life is short. Be creative. And so for our listeners out there, Robyn, explain the difference between now, because I know and I know Kim knows, but explain to our listening audience the difference between psychic energy, mediumship readings. Because some might be asking, well, what's the difference? Is there a difference? Is it all the same? They may not understand what a psychic reading is versus, a mediumship reading.
Okay. Well, as I always say, a psychic, when I do my work, I don't really deal with angels. I know a lot of people do. I deal more with spirit. Psychic for me is just a knowing. I don't like to tell people what's going to happen in their future. I don't like to diagnose, and I won't. But psychic work for me is just, telling somebody, somebody wants to decide which way to go for a job. Do I go to the left or do I go to the right? And it's just spiritual guidance and a knowing, kind of knowing what's in the future, or knowing about what they ate for breakfast in the morning. I mean, that's kind of psychic for me. But mediumship is actually seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting spirit. And it's being able to give evidence of, like, for instance, for my mom, you know, if when Janet No Havoc saw my mom standing behind me, she would give me evidence of who my mom was. And there was not a doubt in my mind that she was talking about this woman that she never ever met. You know, she would bring up memories of things that happened in my childhood, you know, like, you know, and I would go, wow. And that, you know, it's just about bringing evidence of your loved one to you so that you know that they're there. Or if I'm doing a reading for someone and I say, so this morning you ate your Pop Crackle, you know, your Cheerios or your Pop-Tarts or, you know, whatever you had in the morning.
Your Rice Krispies.
Yes. It's just to say, well, your mom was watching you eat this morning. This is how I know that she's around you, because she knew exactly what you ate. You know, a lot of mediums are not psychic, but a lot of psychics are mediums. So there's a fine line. A lot of mediums don't believe that you're also psychic. They just believe they're getting all the information from spirit. So there's kind of a fine line between deciphering psychic work. I am both, but again, when I do my psychic work, I do feel like I'm getting information from the spirit, from the spirit world, and also from my spirit guides.
Yeah, because it's coming from somewhere, right? That consciousness, that information, you know, whether it's psychic, whether it's an actual person on the other side that, you know, once lived here on the physical plane and, you know, decarnated back into spirit, we're tapping into something. So yeah, I'm with you on the whole, the mediums and psychics, you know, because I think we all tap into a source. And you'd said at the beginning of the show, which I think is important, it's we all can have these experiences. We can all tap into the spiritual world. It just depends on how far we want to go with it. If we want to just talk to them while we're in the shower, we can do that, or we can do a platform demonstration where we're connecting in the public, or we can do one-on-one readings. I think, you know, the spiritual world is literally, we can all touch the spirit world, and it's just a thought away.
Right. And what I always say is, my client is not the person sitting across from me. My client is spirit. I mean, I'm working for spirit. Exactly. Yeah, it's very important that people know that we work for spirit and not for them, because their expectations can bring a lot of self-disappointments if they show up to a reading and it's like, hey, I work for the spirit world. So, and I love that you're not the type of psychic that predicts the future, because I always like to tell my clients that, you know, the best part about our future is it comes one day at a time. And being in the present moment is some of the most powerful energy, happiness, joy that you will find versus, you know, what's the winning lottery numbers for next week, you know? Exactly. Yes. I mean, so everybody has freedom of will.
Yeah, and that's what I love about Janet No Havoc, because when I first met her at Omega in 2013, she was very disciplined, and, you know, with her, you know, sister Janet No Havoc, I should say, with her background and, you know, the discipline of, she was with John Holland, and I just really liked how she worked in mediumship and her discipline to spirit and you know, meditation, daily practice, not just this come and go, but a daily practice, and her dedication to her church. And you know, I think that's important. If you want to, you know, touch the spirit world, you've got to put the work in as well. And they see it from the other side, and they'll start to make it known for, you know, through sign symbols and synchronistic events. So have you studied at AFC then yourself, Robyn?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm also going down to Virginia Beach to work with Janet and Brian and Simon next year at KC. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And my favorite tutor is Stella Upton. She's right now. She's in England, and I love her. She teaches me a lot, and she's my mentor right now.
Okay. Yeah, she was just up here in Vancouver, Canada, not too long ago, doing a workshop. So love AFC. Great learning, great mentors, great tutors there. You can learn a lot. I go every year myself to study abroad, and have really got a lot out of that. And you're lucky that you have the Journey Within so close to you. So I'm a little jealous.
Well, I don't anymore. I live in Maryland now, so I don't anymore.
Yeah.
But I
well, you're still a lot closer than I am in Seattle. So
that's true. Yes, that's correct.
Not too far. But as we get ready to close the show, like I said, this goes by so quick, Robyn. We just want to thank you for being on the show, taking a caller. That's not always easy to do a live on-air reading. It's something Kim and I are going to be doing next week for our inspired listeners. So hopefully you'll join us next week for a open phone line to take readings and calls and psychic or mediumship. But for one more time before we get ready to close the show, let people know where they can work with you, where they can get the your book, the Reiki Bear, things that you have coming as far as working at the Wellness Center and in your galleries and everything that you have coming up here in the next few months.
Sure. You can email me at Robyn, ROBYN, at nourishing, NOURISHING-journey.com.
Okay, so that's kind of
find us on Facebook.
One-stop shop. Okay,
yeah.
And it's just it's under, just look for you for Robyn Wolf on Facebook, and people can find you that way as well.
Yes, as long as it's ROBYN.
ROBYN. All right, Robyn.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being on today's show. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. Again, keep moving forward. If this was easy.
Yeah, thank you.
If this was
thank
easy.
you so much for having me.
Everyone would be doing it. So just thank you for your time. And all of our inspired listeners out there all around the globe, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Inspired Radio with Kim. We'll be back next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, where Kim and I will be doing an open phone line, taking your calls, giving you readings, a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Until then, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. Namaste.